And before I get into this very important lecture, I just want to take a moment to thank all of my supporters and everyone for supporting my channel. My channel truly will not be where it's at today without all of my supporters. And I'm just really excited in relation to the trajectory path I'm going to take my channel as we get ready to usher into the year of 2025, New Year's Eve. So with that being said, let's get on down to today's very important topic. I always like doing a lecture on this specific topic around this time of the year. And so the focus of this topic is going to be tax return checklist, aka, getting into preparation to get ready to file for your taxes for 2024. And I tell anyone, I've always, for the past 21 plus years of my adult life, have always aligned myself with a very good certified public accountant who always do my personal and business taxes. And my CPA that I use for the year of 2023, one of the things I enjoyed in terms of working with him is he sent me a tax return checklist for 2023 to get everything ready when I filed for my personal and business taxes for the year of 2023. So he's already sent me another tax return checklist. And this is a very powerful document that I have to use to get everything ready to turn over to him so he can file my personal and business taxes. And I've been in the state of Florida going on 2 years, even though I'm in the process of relocating out of Florida. But I'm kind of glad that I'm going to be here for another month or two so I can go ahead and use my same CPA that I used for the year 2023 tax filing. So he's already sent me my tax return checklist, and I tell anyone, begin now in terms of pulling your documents together now to file your taxes, versus waiting to the last minute. Because I'm going to have everything ready to turn over to him the first week in February. And I'm just going to present to the viewer in terms of what this tax return checklist entails. Some of this information don't apply to me, but I like how he still sends a thorough checklist and everything that applies to me. You better believe I'm going to have my documents ready, separated in folders. Of course, you're going to need all of your W-2 forms from your job income that goes with the territory. Employers, I believe by state law, they're supposed to have all those W-2s mailed out by the end of, I believe, December or somewhere in January. 1099s from all income sources. 1099s are INT, interest income. If you're retired, just for example, I'm retired, so I'm going to be getting 1099s from my retirement portfolio. 1099 dividends from your dividend income. That's going to apply to me also. Any kind of 1099B, if you have brokerage transactions, that CPA is going to need to see those. 1099R for all of your pensions, individual retirement accounts, annuities. He's going to have to see all that. 1099 for people who get Social Security. They have to submit that to their accountant or whoever does their taxes. Like I said, his list is so comprehensive. As I go through it, I'm going to know what applies to me and what doesn't apply to me. But I really does like how he sends this checkoff list. 1099G, if a person had unemployment income, all of your business income and expenses, have evidence of all that. Even though I'm retired, but I do have my company, Patterson Associates Resource Center. Under my company, I'm also a YouTube content creator, because YouTube is going to also send me my 1099 to reflect all of the revenue I made for the year 2024 just like they sent me my 1099 to reflect all of the revenue that I made for 2023. So my accountant is going to have to get all of that. Investment, sales, price, and cost, if that's applicable. If rental house income, if applicable, like I say, not all this is applicable to me, but I'm just thoroughly going through this list so the viewer can hear how important it is to align yourself with a certified public accountant to ensure your personal and business taxes are done correctly. A CPA, they hold a credential in accounting. They have to, they've gone through schooling, they sat for a board, and they have to maintain that CPA certification year after year. And they also have the software, and CPAs are staying abreast of all of the tax laws. Rental house income and expense, your 1098 to reflect your mortgage interest is on this checklist. Sales types on car purchase or home improvement is on this checklist. Any kind of moving expense. So for example, when I relocate from Florida to Georgia, which will be in a couple more months, all of the money I spend to relocate, I'll be able to file that on my taxes for next year, because this year is about over. So I'll make sure I keep all my receipts, just like when I relocated from North Carolina to Florida, all of that money I spent on moving expense was a business write-off. Sales of business, 1095 A, B, or C in relation to health insurance coverage is another one on this checklist. Also on this checklist is a 1098T, which is tuition payment statement. That one there don't apply to me because my student loan was zeroed out over a year ago. 1098E for student loan interest, if applicable. 41S partnership, S corporation, if applicable. Alimony paid or received. Closing documents for home sale. Like I said, not all this applies to me, but again, I'm presenting this information on this tax return checklist. Closing documents for home sale. Casualties or theft loss, if that applies. Roth IRA conversion amounts. W-2 from gambling winnings, yes. People who gamble, there is a W-2 for gambling winnings. You have to pay taxes on that. It's right here, I'm looking at it. 1099-C for canceled debt. Brokerage statement. I'm going to revisit that canceled debt because I'm going to share with the world when under the federal student loan forgiveness program, because my student loan got forgiven well over a year ago because I met all of the requirements, and the remaining balance of my student loan that got forgiven was well over $71,000+, people. But what many people may not be aware is that the federal government passed legislative laws, and they sent me a powerful letter indicating typically when a debt is forgiven, you are taxed on amount that's forgiven. But because I received that powerful document when my federal student loan got forgiven, indicating in that document that I am not to be taxed on that money. Not just me, but anyone who had a federal student debt forgiven when they met all of the loan forgiveness requirements. They got the same powerful letter that I got to alert the certified public accountant. Do not tax me on that $71,000+ federal student debt that was forgiven by evidence of this powerful letter that the federal government sent me to alert my certified public accountant. Don't tax me on that debt. So that was a powerful movement by the government in regards to not taxing individuals who got their federal student loan forgiven when they met all of the requirements. But any other debt that has been canceled, you would have to present your 1099-C in relation to that canceled debt, and the person may be taxed on the amount that was canceled. Brokerage statement that ties into your financial portfolio, all of those statements needs to be turned over to your accountant when you get ready to file your personal and business taxes. Also, in relation to receipts for doctor visits, dentist visits, eye care visits, prescriptions, money you pay for health insurance, medical insurance, dental insurance, turn all that over to your accountant because a portion of that may be able to be written off. Mileage you spend going back and forth to the doctor's office, have evidence of that if you want to claim it. Evidence of health insurance, you got to show proof that you have health insurance, and typically all they need to see is a copy of your health insurance card or etc. All of this information is indicated on this checklist that I'm gonna offer. All of the applicable information that applies to me, I have all of this ready by the first week in February to turn over to my certified public accountant so he can go ahead and file my personal and business taxes. I always do it super early, always the first week in February. But as of now, I'm already pulling all my documentation together, separating everything into folders, labeling everything, getting everything laid out, ready for my account. Something else that's on this checklist too, anything that you may have donated, clothing, toys, household goods, receipts in relation to that. By me being although I'm retired, but I also still have my company, my business, Paris and Associates. I'm a content creator. So he also is going to need my home office space square footage. So if I utilize any space in my home, it's a percentage of money I spend on my home maintenance is a write-off. So they're going to need the home office space, the living space square footage, the home office space square footage, home utilities, telephone, internet, mortgage, rent, homeowners insurance, home repairs, and etc. So all of that has to be ready for all of the money I spend applicable to me in those areas. All those receipts will be turned over to my accountant, and all of this will help offset my taxable income. And what else does he have on here? And any other type of expenses in relation to in terms of performance of your business, rather is ink, paper, printer, laptop, new cell phone, any type of items I have to buy in reference to what I need to do under my company, what I need to do under as a content creator. You know, you got to have internet as a content creator. You need a cell phone. You can get an updated cell phone. You need a laptop, equipment as a business person, because one of the primary services I provide under my company is I go into execute a contract with folks who want to hire me to develop their strategic business plan. So I have to create documents. I have to create those contracts. I have to pay a web designer to maintain my business website. So all of the money I spend in relation to what I need to do to perform the essential functions of my task and duty under my company is a 100% business write-off. As a content creator, I did a couple of trips abroad. I went to Cairo, Egypt. I went to Rome. I went to Italy. So by me being a content creator, by evidence I get a 1099 at the end of the year from YouTube, I'm going to make it a point to do some live footage as a content creator when I'm traveling abroad. So all of the money I spend to travel abroad, trust me, is a 100% business write-off. You better believe it. The money I spend with the travel agent, the money I spend on the flight, the money I spend on food, motel, all of that, because I can link it to my company. I can link it to what I do as a content creator. So I make sure I keep all of my receipts. And when I travel abroad, all of that money I spend is a 100% business write-off. And that's one of the main reasons I'm going to make sure I turn all of my other documents, but I make sure my certified public accountant get my 1099 that YouTube is going to send me to reflect all of the money I made for the year 2024. And that's evidence that I am an independent contractor, meaning as a content creator for real, for real. You know, I tell folks, you know, Rather you're in business, developing your own brand, your product, your service, or rather you're a content creator, it really is a business side to being a content creator by evidence of this discussion I'm having right now with all of this powerful information on this tax return checklist that my certified public accountant has already sent me to help me to assist me in preparations of getting everything ready to turn over to him to file for my personal and business taxes for the year of 2024. And the money I paid him last year to file my taxes would be a write-off for this year. And the money I paid him to file my taxes for this year will be a write-off for 2025. And it's a powerful thing. And I've always been the type of person, I pay attention to detail. This time of the year, it excites me because as I'm working, and it's not all about at the end of the year. When you're working with a reputable certified public accountant, they're going to give you ongoing, if you have questions throughout the year, they're going to answer your questions throughout the year. You get to know your CPA. When I lived in Atlanta, Georgia, I had the same CPA for 19 years. When I lived in North Carolina, I had the same CPA for about 13 years. And I've been here for almost 2 years. And I'm going to use the same CPA that I did last year because I was so impressed with his level of professionalism. But when I relocate back to Georgia in a different area, I'm going to make it my business to find a reputable, certified public accountant who will continue to align themselves with me to make sure I'm on point with my personal and business taxes year after year, answering all of my questions throughout the year, and throughout my professional career, I've been audited by Internal Revenue Service plenty of times because at any given time, you can be randomly audited. And I love audits because I keep such excellent records. And not only my excellent records, by utilizing a certified public accountant, they also got your information electronically in their database, more checks and balances. I love it because also, I understand the importance of yielding to the experts. I may not be a certified public accountant, but you better believe I have thorough working knowledge about my personal and business taxes. I'm involved with this process. I'm asking questions. I'm getting my answer, but I know enough to know to hire the expert. So I ain't got to be worried about all this throughout the year. I ain't got to be worried about trying to keep up with all of the changing tax laws and purchasing all of the software. No, hire the experts to do that. Hire a certified public accountant. That's their profession. They're going to stay abreast of all of that. They're going to have all the tax laws. They're going to align themselves with you so you can focus on making your money and having understanding and knowledge of the power of money. Understanding the knowledge in terms of what's coming in, what's coming out. Because I've been so aligned with CPAs for over 21 plus years, I'm always thinking from a mindset on anything that I spend. You better believe I'm going to be able to tie it into a business expense by evidence of all of the knowledge I gain when I'm reviewing and studying these checklists and pulling my documents together and getting everything ready and asking those questions. And anytime I have been audited by the Internal Revenue Service, I have even blown them away with my impeccable record keeping. Because I'm telling you, if you getting 1099s or W-2s, enough in your adult life, we all at some point will be randomly audited. And there's nothing to fear as long as you know that you're keeping good records, you're aligning yourself with a certified public accountant. That's what it's all about. But to be honest with you, Internal Revenue Service, they ain't really thinking about the little folks like me and you. No, they really are watching these folks who out there or who are evading paying their taxes, their personal taxes. business taxes, income tax evasion, for real, for real. Those are the people that they're really watching. Every now and then they may do a random audit of a regular person like me and you, but it's the people out there, and sometimes it be billionaires, millionaires, movie stars making mad money, more money than we'll ever see in our lifetime, and they be the main ones evading paying their income tax. For real, for real. And getting their assets seized, property seized. Because Uncle Sam, trust me, you're going to either pay now or later. And it baffles me with these billionaires not paying their taxes, not hiring a certified public accountant and having working knowledge of what's going on and what's needed and asking questions. They ain't doing that. They out here making all this money and ain't paying their taxes. I don't get it. I really don't get it. There are regular people getting up and going to work every day. I met people throughout my career who hadn't filed taxes in 4 or 5 years. Really? Hadn't filed their personal or business taxes in 4 or 5 years, but they're out there making all this money. I remember several years ago, I had a personal friend. She went on a vacation. She out there making all this money. And she went on a vacation, and when she returned back from her vacation, she checked her bank account, and $25,000 was withdrawn from her bank account, and she had found out Internal Revenue Service went in and withdrew $25,000 out of her account because she wasn't paying her tax. She owed back taxes. Yeah, they got power to do that. They can tap into your account. And when she told me that, my first thought was, you have gone some years without filing your taxes. You have gone some years without filing your personal taxes, your business taxes. You have gone some years ignoring those letters from Internal Revenue Service, because they're going to send you a letter. The Internal Revenue Service going to send you a few letters. In that letter, in reference to you got to contact them about these taxes you owe. They're going to send you a second letter. They're going to send you a third letter. They're going to send you a final warning before they go in and garnish your wages or get their money out of your account. For real, for real. Because how I know this, I've worked shoulder to shoulder throughout my career with too many certified public accountants. I've had one accountant for years, and sometimes we will go into discussions about various different scenarios on how people don't pay their taxes and get their accounts frozen and assets seized. This is real, people, and I'm talking about regular people. So I say that to say this here is the business side. Tax checklist and aligning yourself with a CPA and making sure your personal and business taxes are done correctly year after year is the business side of being in business. I don't care what your business is. I don't care if you're a content creator. I don't care if you're retired and got a business. I don't care if you got a cosmetology business, if you're making money online, or you're a content creator and making money online and you're selling t-shirts. You better have this in place. You better have a CPA in place. Study this information. Have working knowledge of all of this. Because I don't just turn my documents over to my CPA in a big box with everything just bundled up in a box and scattered. No, I have everything in folders, in this applicable folder, in sequence from January to December. I have everything labeled. I make sure everything on this checklist that applies to me is in the applicable folder. My stuff be so tight. Only thing my CPA literally got to do when I hand everything over is plug my information into the software. Literally. print out my stuff, sign it, and send it on to the Internal Revenue Service. And by me doing that and being particular like that, I have gained so much knowledge, working knowledge in relation to income taxes and expenses and 1099s and W-2s and what's a write-off and what's not a write-off, and almost anything can be tied to a write-off when you really get into this. And I tell anyone, also, even though it's not on here, because I'm so thorough, I be giving documents to my certified public accountant that ain't even on the list. That's how deep and thorough I am. And I'm gonna give you an example of some documents that I give him that ain't even on the list, but I'm giving it to him because I want to make sure I ain't missing out nothing. One of the things I do is I get printouts of all of my bank statements, because think about it. Your bank statements is also powerful evidence of receipts. Anything that, just like when I travel abroad, it was about, I use my Wells Fargo debit card when I travel abroad. So that information is going to be on my Wells Fargo bank statement as evidence I spent this money. So my accountant will get all of my bank statements because it's going to reflect everything that I spend for a whole solid year. And I meticulously go through this so I ain't missing out nothing. You can lose a receipt and forget about that expense, but when you see it on your bank statement, then that helps me not miss out anything. So I'm going to have all of this ready for my accountant. So if there are any questions that he may ask me in relation to, you spent this amount of money, what was it for? And I'm going to have a little note on a piece of paper say, as according to my bank statement, that amount of money was spent for this stakeholder, this date, time, in relation to a business write-off. So even though he doesn't ask for all of this, I always have this ready for my a CPA every single year. And this is powerful proof and evidence of all of my expenses. And making sure I got all of my statements for the whole year, just like I'm still waiting for my December statements for my because they had all banks. They'll probably be getting ready to send me out my December statements, and all of this will be ready. So that's just an example of documents I give him that are not even on here. So again, tax return checklist, aka preparations to start filing your taxes now, because the first week in February, all my stuff will be turned over. My accountant will do his magic, and my personal and business taxes will be completed by that second week in February. I don't wait nowhere close to the month of April. So that's all I have. Share this information. Somebody might need to hear this information in terms of the business side, in relation to anything you do as a businessman or woman in relation to filing your personal and business taxes. That's all I have. Simplify, simple fidelis, and I'm going to leave you in the care of your own conscience. Have a great day.